I'm just kind of like, I think about telling students to get questions wrong, like do hard questions, get questions wrong. Every question you get wrong or have difficulty with is an opportunity to learn something new. If you only
Yeah.
do easy questions, you're not going to learn that much.
Yeah. We learn so much more from our wrong answers than our right answers. And that isn't to say that our right answers can't teach us anything, but like our wrong answers are gold. And I
Mm.
feel like they're so mixed up in our perception of ourselves that like a wrong answer is a failure and a right answer is a win. And I want to think more about my wins than my losses. So I'm not going to think about my wrong answers. And so I came up with this thing called Camouflage Review, which is now a website that's like going up on my site soon.
Nice.
Where you put your answers in, and what it does is it forces people to confront their wrong answers. So you put in your answers to a section, and then it just gives you a list of questions to return to. And some of those questions are the ones you got wrong, and some of them are actually questions you got right. You have to reattempt all of them. And then what it does is it grades you and gives you a wrong answer profile of why you're missing, and gives you a self-doubt versus self-confidence score, because you have a self-doubt issue. If you had a question right and you changed it to wrong, that just shows that like your self-confidence is getting you a little bit. You might be missing questions from that. Whereas if you get all the questions right that you got right before, self-confidence to the max. If you fix the answer on your second pass, a wrong one, then it was probably just a misread. And that happens all the time. I'm sure you know from working with students where they get the question wrong and they look at it and they're immediately like, oh, of course it's not C. Oh, of course it's D. What was I doing? Those are just misreads. Then the ones that on the camera review they get wrong again, that's a conceptual gap, indicating that that question is showing us something that we really need to work on long term. Which is like, it's so good to be able to actually separate those misreads from the conceptual gaps. And it can actually make students feel a lot better when they go and they camo review a section. And they're like, I missed 6 at first, but on my camo, I only missed 2. So I feel like I can really get better. And it's actually like super motivating. This is the only way I have found to really trick students into wrong answer confronting. Otherwise, like, I don't know if it's the bane of your existence,
No,
where
for sure.
students will circle the right answer when they grade it, and then they can never go and review it ever because they're just going to have massive confirmation bias of like, oh, well, it is D, so yeah, I could see it. And yeah, of course it's not C because that's the wrong answer. The next. And it's like, no.
No, I love it. I think it's so review is like the number one thing students need to do more of. And yeah, I agree that if you find out that upon review, only a handful of them were actually gaps in understanding and and most of them were misreads, well then, you've just got to slow down a little bit and practice your focus.